members of the media, friends, welcome again to Ministry of External Affairs. Thank you for joining us for this special briefing ahead of what is expected to be a highly productive and wide-ranging visit by Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi to Europe and his participation in the G7 summit. The visit spans the period of 14 to 18 June and covers 3 destinations in France: Nice, Evian, and Paris, and Slovakia. I will now take you through each leg of the visit in some detail. I will start with G7 in Evian. At the invitation of the Honorable President of the French Republic, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, Honorable Prime Minister will be traveling to Evian, France to participate in the 52nd G7 summit, which is to be held from 15 to 17 June, where India has been invited as a partner country. The visit will provide an opportunity for the Honorable Prime Minister to engage with the world leaders present at the G Summit on issues of importance to India as well as to the global South. This will be India's 13th participation at the G7 summit and Prime Minister Mr. Modi's 7th consecutive participation at the summit. On 16 and 17 June, the days dedicated to outreach sessions of the G7 summit, the Prime Minister will participate alongside other invited countries. The discussions will broadly focus on the renewal of international partnerships and development solidarity, fostering shared and balanced growth, and effective and efficient rollout of artificial intelligence. India's regular participation at the G7 summits reflects the increasing recognition of India's role and contributions in addressing global challenges relating to peace, security, development, and environmental sustainability. Also at the G7, international forums, including the G20 and the OAS of Global South Summit, India has consistently brought to the forefront the priorities, concerns, and developmental aspirations of the Global South. The G7 summit under the French presidency has chosen some key priorities for the current year. In broad terms, these are reducing excessive macroeconomic imbalances and fostering shared growth, renewing international partnerships and development solidarity, strengthening the resilience of critical mineral value chains, protecting miners online, settling major geopolitical crises, to work on the fight against organized crime and illicit flows, etc. It is pertinent to mention that India was invited to several of the G7 tracks this year. EAM attended the G7 foreign ministers meeting at Paris earlier this year. On the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister is also expected to hold bilateral meetings and discussions with the G7 countries, partner countries, and international organizations. Some of the countries invited for the summit include Republic of Korea, Kenya, Brazil, and Egypt as partner countries. Other invited international organizations include the World Bank, the African Development Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and OECD. On the other elements of the visit to France, including on the Bharat Innovates in Nice and Vivatech in Paris, and bilateral with French President, my colleague, Additional Secretary Europe West, Sri Piyush Srivastava, will share the details now. Piyush.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, friends. Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi will begin his visit to France in Nice. This visit is at the invitation of President of France, His Excellency Mr. Emmanuel Macron. I should note that this is a relationship that has been characterized by exceptional warmth, trust, regularity of contact, and a very strong personal rapport between the two leaders. This is Prime Minister's seventh official visit to France. You may recall that President Macron visited Mumbai and Delhi in February this year for AI Impact Summit. As you all are aware, the India-France relationship was elevated to a special global strategic partnership in February 2026. Both leaders also inaugurated at that time India-France Year of Innovation. Before that, Prime Minister Modi co-chaired the AI Action Summit in Paris in February this year. During the visit to Nice, Prime Minister will hold comprehensive discussions with President Macron, covering full range of areas of our partnership, as well as they will exchange views on regional and international issues of importance. Prime Minister Modi will also jointly inaugurate Bharat Innovates along with President Macron. Bharat Innovates is a landmark initiative that showcases India's innovation journey to a global audience. Our startup ecosystem, deep tech startups, our digital public infrastructure, our advances in defense, space, and clean energy, and contributions of Indian talent to global technology. The Prime Minister's presence with President Macron at this event is itself a significant symbol of the depth of bilateral relationship in the domain of technology and innovation, especially this year, which is we are also celebrating as India-France Year of Innovation. Now I'll elaborate on some of his elements of his visit in Paris, which will be the last leg of his visit. He will continue bilateral engagements in Paris, including addressing Viva Tech Summit, which is Europe's premier technology and startup conference. India has a long association with Viva Tech. Prime Minister had delivered a keynote speech in the 5th edition of the event in 2021. Prime Minister's participation this year is expected to be particularly significant, reflecting both India's standing as a global technology powerhouse and the depth of India-France innovation partnership. He, along with President Macron, will jointly visit the Indian pavilion at Viva Tech, which will be the largest pavilion there this year. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi will also interact with the members of Indian community in Paris. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Piyush. Now,
Nice would be on 14th and Paris will be on 18th of June.
thank you, Piyush. And now let me brief about the visit to Slovakia. At the invitation of the Prime Minister of the Slovak Republic, His Excellency Mr. Robert Fico, our Prime Minister will pay a state visit to the Slovak Republic from 14 to 16 June. This visit is historic as it would be the first ever visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Slovak Republic since its independence in 1993. Prime Minister will arrive at Bratislava on 14 June. Next day, Prime Minister will be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the historic castle, followed by his delegation level and one-on-one meetings with the Prime Minister of Slovakia. Prime Minister will also interact with Slovak business leaders along with the Prime Minister of Slovakia to deepen economic engagement, boost investment flows, and expand cooperation across important sectors such as transportation, renewable energy, emerging technology, and defense production. Prime Minister will also hold talks with the President of Slovakia, Mr. Peter Pellegrini, at the Presidential Palace. President will host a state banquet in honor of the Prime Minister. India and Slovakia share a very warm and cordial relationship. Bilateral engagements span across multiple sectors, including trade and investment, defense, space, nuclear, digitalization, cybersecurity, skill development, academic and cultural exchanges. Bilateral relations between India and Slovakia have gathered momentum in the recent years, marked by reciprocal high-level political exchanges from both sides. Honorable President of India paid a state visit to Slovakia in April last year. President of Slovak Republic visited India for the AI Impact Summit in February this year. The Indian diaspora in Slovakia has grown in recent past to around 11,000. Today, I think Indian diaspora is the second largest diaspora in Slovakia after the Ukrainians. Indian culture, including yoga, Ayurveda, and Indian cuisine, films have gained popularity in Slovakia. The Slovak foreign minister attended the Raisina dialogue in 2023, 2024, and 2025. India and Slovakia also cooperate closely at multilateral forums, reflecting the shared commitment to multilateralism. Slovakia extended great assistance during the evacuation of Indians from Ukraine during Operation Ganga in 2022. Slovakia condemned the heinous terror attacks in Pahalgam and expressed solidarity with the people of India, a reflection of our shared commitment in the fight against terrorism. Bilateral trade has experienced a positive growth, particularly in the last few years. The India-EU FTA will give a new momentum in expanding our trade and investment ties. India has become a significant investor in Slovakia. There are several of the Indian companies which are now invested in Slovakia, and similarly, we have also presence of Slovakian companies in India. Slovakia supported the successful conclusion of the India-EU FTA and has welcomed it. The implementation of the FTA would provide further impetus to the growing bilateral trade and investment relations. A number of MOUs and agreements will be entered into during the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister. Let me conclude by saying this, that this visit will be a full, highly productive and strategically significant visit. It encompasses a bilateral summit with one of the most important strategic partners, a visit to a Central European country with which we wish to deepen ties, India's continued deepening engagement at the G7, and of course, showcasing India's innovation story at Bharat Innovates and Viva Tech. This visit will add significant momentum to India's partnership with France and Slovakia in particular, and with Europe in general, also keeping in view the new momentum with the conclusion of the India-EU FTA. It will also showcase India's standing as a responsible and constructive global power. The visit to Slovakia is taking place at a very important time with our bilateral relationship on a positive trajectory. As I said, this would be the first ever visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Slovakia since its independence. The visit would further institutionalize the partnerships in defense, movement of skilled professionals, cooperation in digital technologies, quantum technologies, cybersecurity, education and scientific exchanges, audiovisual sector, among others, to bring both the countries and bringing our priorities together. It also aims to strengthen India's engagement with the European Union, in which Slovakia plays a very important role. I stop here. We will be very happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Okay. We'll start with Keshav.
Thank you, Secretary. Keshav Padmanabhan from The Print. With regards to the visit and discussions in France, so here, my question is very simple. Will there be discussion? Will India show its support to the French proposal for any sort of adding to a convoy to the Strait of Hormuz post the ending of the war? Foreign Secretary Mishri had attended the UK-French virtual summit, I think on the 18th of April as well on this issue. I only ask this given the current incidents we're seeing and given that this is a French proposal. So would these discussions come up? What is India's position with France in cooperating in this area? Thank you.
Siddhant.
So similar question in terms of the West Asia crisis. A short while ago, the French diplomatic sources told us that they're going to host a special meeting on West Asia where West Asian leaders will also be present, and India has also been invited. So essentially, what does India look forward to in terms of raising issues, particularly in the aftermath of the killing of 3 Indian sailors?
Mhm. Huma?
So I'm Huma Siddiqui from Stat News Global. I have two questions. You talked about the defense and security during the bilateral discussions in France as well as in Slovakia. So will there be any major announcements made in France, and in Slovakia, what aspect of defense cooperation are we looking at?
Ayushi?
So good evening. This is Ayushi Agarwal from ANI. What is the possibility of a meeting between a prime minister and President Trump on the sidelines of the G7 summit in France? And will Prime Minister Modi raise maritime security concerns with G7 leaders amid recent attacks on vessels in the Gulf of Oman?
Megha?
My question is, there has been an announcement by French diplomatic sources talking about the 12 announcements that are going to be made during the bilateral meeting that happens between Prime Minister Modi and his French counterpart. They will all focus on innovation. Can you highlight what are these, or what aspects are going to be touched upon during these 12 announcements that are going to be made?
I think, sir, we can take on these questions.
Yeah.
Possibly you and Piyush, you can also pitch in.
Yeah, sure. I think the questions I can take it together. Some questions related to the evolving situation in West Asia, including the incident in the Hormuz Straits, questions related to defense engagement between India and France and Slovakia, and then also bilateral announcements during French, the announcements during the meeting with France. So as far as the question related to developments in West Asia, you have seen the press interaction with my colleagues had today on the evolving situation. So I would call your attention towards that. As far as developments in the West Asia is concerned, I can say for sure that, of course, when the leaders meet, all issues of interest in the global issues, including the developments, the evolving situation in West Asia, will be discussed. As far as the specific issues discussed and what would be the position taken by various countries, I would not be able to speculate or speak about it now. But definitely, each of these issues will be discussed. And as and when we have, after the meetings, we would be able to brief you about what would be the outcome of these discussions. This also applies to the new announcements being made by various sides on the specific meetings, etc. Defense side, let me speak about the defense cooperation with Slovakia, and I will hand over the floor to my colleague to specifically cover the engagement with France. Yes, one of the important areas of discussion in our relationship with Slovakia is defense cooperation. We have been engaging with Slovakia in defense sectors for the last several years. There have been in close engagement. We this visit would help us to take that relationship to a new high level of engagement. There would be specific areas which will be discussed and covered, and also there would be announcements which we would make immediately after the visit is over. So defense is an important area. As you know, now we have ongoing defense cooperation in several sectors, including in manufacturing and defense technology cooperation. So it's an important sector. We are also working on an MOU which would be discussed and released, or a letter of intent, as and when it evolves. Now I hand it over to my colleague to touch upon the French engagement.
Thank you, sir. As you are aware, with France, we have very deep-rooted and a strong defense cooperation. In recent years, the efforts have been to focus more on developing platforms through co-production, transfer of technology, and co-development. So all such areas will be discussed in strategic sectors. Announcement you will come to know after the visit. But let me highlight that in this visit, one of the major focus area is technology and innovation. And there will be some major outcomes in this area. Primarily, it is AI, it could be health tech, med tech, and startups. So there, it's a sort of a number of areas where the two countries are working together. As I already highlighted, the participation, Honorable Prime Minister's participation as Viva Tech, and also the joint participation of Prime Minister and President Macron at Bharat Innovates in itself is a big statement. Let me just speak a little bit on Bharat Innovates, because this is also, there will be a lot of deliverables here also. From our perspective, Bharat Innovates is also an opportunity to showcase over 120 deep tech startups to the global audience. And we expect that more than 350 investors, CEOs, and business leaders from across the world will attend the Bharat Innovates. There, it will be, we are expecting a lot of collaborations to take place, and also a lot of agreements between the universities and research institutions. So overall, yes, innovation and technology will be a very strong focus of this visit in France. Thank you.
Keshav, to your question, for us, it is important. We have stated our position on the Strait of Hormuz. We want, and we have urged that there be unimpeded and safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz in keeping with international law. So that is our position. This is a topic which will come up for discussion, and we'll put our points across. Also, the concerns that we have arising out of the West Asia situation and developments there. We also had a question from Ayushi. We have several, on such occasions, leaders have the opportunity to have several bilateral meetings. We will keep you informed of these bilateral meetings as and when they're scheduled, and the discussions that are held. With that, we can take more questions. Okay, Sridhar.
So we were given to understand by the French side that the discussions are ongoing on the Rafale deal. Now, given India's concerns about integration of the weaponry on the platform, on the French platforms, and the access to the source codes, will this be raised by Prime Minister Modi at the highest levels with the French president, or will the discussions be a sort of a parallel process which is already ongoing? Thank you.
Madhu? इनको पूछ लेने दीजिए, उसके बाद आप पूछ लीजिएगा।
सर, मधुरेंद्र, मैं न्यूज़ नेशन से। जैसा कि आप लोगों ने बताया कि G7 के साइडलाइन में जो इस वक्त हॉर्मुज की स्थिति है, वेस्ट एशिया की स्थिति है, उसमें जो लीडर्स हैं वो बातचीत करेंगे, और जाहिर तौर पे भारत का एजेंडा क्या होगा, अगर आप इसको एलैबोरेट करना चाहें। और मेरा दूसरा सवाल है कि अगर साइडलाइन में पीएम मोदी और प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप की बातचीत होती है, तो जो इस वक्त की स्थिति है जिसमें 3 भारतीय मारे गए हैं और 4 दिनों में हम देखें तो 3 बड़े हमले ऐसे अंजाम दिए गए जिसमें भारतीयों की जान संकट में पड़ी, उसको रेस्क्यू करना पड़ा। तो क्या इस मुद्दे को भी पीएम मोदी प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प से उठाएंगे?
नीरज।
सर नमस्कार, मैं नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से। सर आपने बताया अभी भारत इनोवेट्स पहल के तहत एआई, अंतरिक्ष और कई सारे और टेक में समझौते होने की संभावना है, तो क्या इसके लिए कोई संयुक्त फंड या टेक्नोलॉजी मिशन भी बनाया जाएगा? साथ ही एक सवाल और है सर कि फ्रांस लगातार यूएनएससी में भारत की स्थायी सदस्यता का समर्थन करता रहा है, क्या इस यात्रा के दौरान संयुक्त राष्ट्र सुधार पर कोई साझा रोड मैप या संयुक्त बयान आने की उम्मीद है?
कादम्बनी।
Kadambini Sharma, independent journalist. Sir, in Slovakia, are we looking at any other significant MOUs apart from defense funds? Thank you.
सर मैं मनीष हूँ टीवी 9 से। जो श्रीधर सवाल कर रहे थे उसी पर मैं ऐड करके ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि अभी रिसेंटली रशियन प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन ने Su-57 के इंडिया के साथ ज्वाइंट प्रोडक्शन का ऑफर दिया। यूएस प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप खुद फ्रांस में रहेंगे और वो F-35 को लेकर पुश कर रहे हैं। और सेम फ्रेंच डिप्लोमेटिक सोर्स हमें कह रहे थे कि फ्रांस और इंडिया के बीच में रफाल को लेकर बहुत एडवांस लेवल की बातचीत चल रही है और जो नया डील होगा वो प्रीवियस से बेटर होगा। तो इंडिया इसको किस रूप में देख रहा है कि Su-57, F-35 एंड रफाल? थैंक यू।
So would you like to take the relevant questions on your side, and then Piyush, you can pitch in with questions on France.
Thanks, Randir. I think as far as the questions related to what would be the agenda, what would be the topics of discussion in the bilateral meetings, I would not like to speculate on this. As you know, as we have earlier mentioned, as far as the bilateral meetings are concerned, that is being worked out, and we will update you as and when these meetings are confirmed and the meetings take place. So I don't want to get into the details of this. As far as with Slovakia, what are the other areas of cooperation which is coming up? As I said earlier, with the new momentum in our engagement with each of the countries in Europe, as a whole with the EU and also with bilaterally with each of the European countries, focus continues to be on investment, technology cooperation, trade and economic engagement, and of course, people-to-people connect. So we are seeing progress in our engagement with each of the European countries in each of these fields. So if you look at it, the 3 Ts, which Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned about. So we will see progress in each one of these sectors in our engagement with Slovakia as well. As far as other questions, I will leave it to Piyush to reply.
Yeah, just sir, to add on France questions, as I already said, I mean, all areas of bilateral cooperation will be discussed, including defense cooperation. And I said with France, it's a trusted partner in defense. We have been looking for increased indigenization and co-development. So I mean, I don't want to talk on one specific proposal or deal, but everything will be discussed over there. And our defense ministries are already talking in detail on these proposals. As far as Bharat Innovates is concerned, as I already said, our startups are there showcasing their capabilities in advanced computing, biotechnology, agri-tech, energy, sustainability, healthcare, industry 4.0, semiconductor, space and defense. And there will be a presence of top CEOs and investors, global companies from across the world. So we are looking at some deals being concretized, some investments being made. As far as a specific fund is concerned, I think there is no proposal as such. It's a private sector driven initiative, and government is there to support that initiative. Thank you.
I would like to respond to the question on the United Nations. As far as UN SC expansion is concerned, it's a priority for us You all know that reform of UN is a major topic of engagement for India with rest of our friendly countries, like-minded countries, which include France and Slovakia. Both France and Slovakia have extended their support for India's membership in an expanded permanent UN Security Council. So this is a topic we always discuss because UN need to reflect on the current realities, geopolitical realities, which it is not reflecting today. So on this, we are all on board, and this would be a topic always on discussion during such high-level meetings. Thank you.
Just one initiative I forgot to mention while we were talking of innovation. If you recall, during the last visit of President Macron, on the bilateral front, India and France have already established an innovation platform which will bring together the startups, companies, businesses, and academic institutions on one platform, where there will be collaboration through businesses also to support the ventures in these areas.
मधु, आपका सवाल G7 को लेके है। देखिए, G7 के सदस्य और G7 में जो और बुलाए गए हैं पार्टनर कंट्री, आउटरीच कंट्रीज, संस्थाएं जिनको बुलाया गया है, ये लोग वैश्विक मुद्दों पे चर्चा करेंगे। और लिहाजा जब वैश्विक मुद्दों की बात कर रहे हैं तो अभी के संदर्भ में जो पश्चिम एशिया में हालात हैं जो चल रहे हैं उस पर बात होगी। हॉर्मुज की आपने बात कही, हॉर्मुज पे हमारा जो पक्ष है उसको हम लोग रखेंगे। और आपको मैं बताना चाहूंगा, दुनिया भर में जो नाविक समुदाय है उसमें दूसरा सबसे बड़ा नाविक समुदाय भारत का है। तो 3,20,000 से ज्यादा नाविक समुदाय हमारा दुनिया के अलग अलग कोने में काम करते हैं, और हमारे नाविक समुदाय का उनका देखभाल करना, उनका वेलफेयर, उनका वेलबींग हमारे लिए बहुत ही अहम चीज है। और इसको हम लोग इस बात को दोहराएंगे और उनकी भलाई के लिए हम लोग उनकी भलाई, उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए काम करते रहेंगे। So we go there, the other side, Srinjoy and then Akhilesh.
So thank you.
Sorry? क्या? तो उसके बारे में बताया ना उन्होंने, डिफेंस के बारे में बताया कि जितनी बात हो सकती थी, जो हमारे रक्षा के संबंध बड़े अच्छे हैं फ्रांस से और इसमें मजबूती आई है और इसको और हम मजबूत करना चाह रहे हैं, इस प्रकार से बताया है हमारे एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी साहब ने आपको।
So thank you. You did mention that defense will be discussed in detail. I just wanted a slightly specific case. When President of France was here, during the bilateral, he asked about the 3 Scorpion submarines, because in the past, India had said that there would be a follow-on order of 3. Now, at that point, in the meeting, we replied and said that we will get back to you. Now, will the G7 on the meeting on the bilateral on the sidelines, will that be an opportunity to get back to them on the Scorpion issue?
We have more, and there, Divya.
So Divya from the Indian Express. As far as France is concerned, the Jaitapur nuclear plant has been, pending for a long time. Now that India has brought the Shanti bill, will there be discussions? Do you expect to move forward?
Hi, Tripti Lahiri from the Wall Street Journal. Pardon if I'm repeating the question. Can you speak a little bit about the views India has conveyed to the US about the incidents in Hormuz this week, and which it would reiterate to the US and other G7 countries next week?
Okay, so Akhilesh.
So I'm Akhilesh Suman from DD News. Can you give us an idea that how many Indian students are there in France, and whether some opportunity will open for Indian students in France to go and study and also on work after this visit?
Thank you, sir. This is Gautam Lahiri. Actually, there is a problem of the mutual recognition of Indian academic degrees. Whether that problem has been solved or it was mentioned in the joint statement of the last time?
I think, yeah, please.
I have this questions on very, very specific subjects. On defense, as I said that all issues will be discussed. I don't want to get into any further details than that. On the civil nuclear cooperation, this is another area of strategic cooperation with France, and both sides are also discussing with the passage of India's Shanti Bill. Both sides are discussing more opportunities at the private sector front also, including through SMRs and AMRs. On mutual recognition of academic collaboration, let me mention that this education people to people area, this is has really progressed very well with France in recent years. I think my colleague has made a informed all of you French government's recent announcement of providing visa-free transit for Indian nationals through French airports. As of now, there are over 10,000 students in France, and it is their government's aim to increase this number to 2 to 3 times in next few years. And in that regard, there is work in progress in several sectors. One is, of course, mutual recognition of academic qualifications, which was mentioned in the last joint statement. I can say at this stage that discussions have advanced in this front. And also, French government is taking initiatives to ease the mobility of students in terms of visa reforms and providing French language classes through several specific initiatives. Thank you. I think I answered all. Yeah.
So Tripti, coming to your question, in fact, you were not there in the MOIB-led press briefing. These issues were discussed there, where I addressed all questions regarding the protest yesterday, the protest that we made. We had summoned the US CDA to register a protest on the attack that happened on this commercial vessel off the coast of Oman, Sete Bello. 3 Indian nationals have died in that incident. We conveyed our deepest concerns on these incidents and the string of attacks that are happening, and we hope and expect that these would end, these would come to an immediate halt. Also, our deep concerns regarding targeting of commercial ships, of marine personnel, as also civilian infrastructure. So we conveyed our concerns to the American side, to the US side on these attacks. ब्रीफिंग में देखेंगे तो इस मुद्दे पे बात होगी, वहां पर वीडियो भी है, तो वहां से ले लें तो ज्यादा बेहतर रहेगा. देखिए, ऐसा है कि जो कल जो हालात स्थिति जो उत्पन्न हुई थी, उसमें 3 भारतीय नागरिक जो वहां पर अटैक हुआ, उसमें 3 भारतीय नागरिक उसमें मारे गए. इसकी हम लोगों ने पुष्टि की. आज उनका पार्थिव शरीर को भारत लाने के लिए हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं. हम लोगों ने कल अमेरिकी सीडीए को समन किया था और उनके समकक्ष हमने अपना विरोध जताया कि इस प्रकार का हमला को बंद किया जाए. हमले से क्षति हो रही है और इससे हम लोग कई भारतीय नागरिक इसमें हताहत हुए हैं. Yes, on that also we gave an update. You were not there. I would urge that please look at the press briefing. 20 Indian nationals who were on board, they are safe. We are deeply concerned at these attacks, and hopefully it will come to an end. Please, Huma.
Piyush, you talked about the startups. How many startups are going from India, and are there any space startups in that group?
Yeah, more than 120 startups are going from India. and they have a, I don't know the exact number, but definitely there are space startups also.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press briefing. Thank you.
Thank you.